Bring you this second game of the third round series of the Gamecom Open tournament. This features beagopa, our hero B that we have followed for 3 rounds now across this tournament. His opponent is Imperishable, the green Terran. In the first game, Imperishable actually went for some medevac drops and they got intercepted. 2 medevacs full of units got completely destroyed by the few stalkers that evened out the supply, and with the tech that beagopa had, he had 3 Colossus and there were no Vikings on the field for Imperishable, and he absolutely ravaged that army. Even though Imperishable was ahead for most of the game, it's very unfortunate. It was on Crevasse, a very macro-oriented map. This one will be Zalnaga Caverns, a very standard map. We all know this map since it's been here forever. We'll have to see what kind of builds these two players go for. And this is from the Gamecom Open tournament. It is a tournament open to all players, bronze through Grandmasters. There are $2,000 in cash in prizes at the end. So there are a few big names here, including Cheesy, Vibe, and some other pros that I did get a few games from them. So I will be casting them later on. So definitely check that out. This is game 2. It is 1-0 for our hero B, and he is throwing down a gateway. Still no gas here, so might we be seeing some kind of early aggression? We will just have to wait and see. First barracks going up as well as the gas for Imperishable, and there it goes. Finally starting the gas for B a tiny bit later than the last game, but still very standard, so we'll just have to wait and see. By the way, guys, I am casting these live on my Justin TV, so if you want to know when I go live, just follow me on Justin TV/BuddhaZerg. It's always nice to have live viewers. If not, I'll be uploading these to my YouTube channel, and I have a lot of games to cast. Since I did have some hardware problems, I wasn't able to cast these games as they were sent in to me, and now I have about 15 games that I want to cast, and I will try and cast them all. So definitely look for those. I will put some special hearts down on the games that I think are the best, so do look for those. If you don't feel like watching 15 games of the Gamecom tournament of random people, you can always look for those stars. I will be putting up on the replays that I feel are worth watching, so definitely look for those. Now, a tech lab already up for Imperishable, still not making use of it. He's producing a Marine, not even a Marauder, so I wonder why he got that so fast. We'll just have to wait and see. A Ghost Academy actually going up here for Imperishable, so we might be seeing some kind of Ghost Rush here. I am very excited about this because we don't usually see a fast Ghost Rush. Now, still no extra gateways. 1 extra gateway being hidden in the back here by B. Nothing too fancy. A second barracks going up for Imperishable, as well as a second gas. A bit late for Ghost because Ghosts are so gas heavy. You can see that they actually cost 150 gas, I think. Maybe that changed in the last patch, but it is very gas heavy. Now, if actually a robotics facility going up for B. So it is the exact same build as the last game. We will be seeing an Observer and an Immortal out of this. Very useful, especially if Imperishable decides to get Cloak. It doesn't look like it, though. He will stick the EMP for those Ghosts. So getting a Reactor now on the barracks, going to be able to pump out those double Marines as well as those Ghosts for EMP. Remember that EMP does huge damage to the Protoss army, especially if it's Zealot-oriented. And especially if there are a lot of sentries also, it can completely negate those force fields. So early Ghosts, expect him to push as soon as he has a few Marines. He's actually starting Combat Shield, so that might be his timing. As soon as that Combat Shield finishes, he might just go out to push. Also getting that Ghost energy upgrade. Those Ghosts will start off with 25 more energy, just enough for an EMP. And I can't wait to see how this turns out, because remember that EMP also affects Immortals, takes down all their shields, and basically negates that special ability where it only takes up to 10 damage. Not a big factor against Marines though, but still not neglectable. And then now a third gateway up for B. We'll just have to wait and see. He actually has an Observer out very fast here. He is only at the 6 minute and 30 second mark. and his observer is halfway across the map, so we will see that ghost, and this combat shield is now about 30 seconds from done, so we'll just have to wait and see if he actually has time to react. He should stop making sentries as soon as he sees that ghost, because those EMPs can be absolutely devastating if he has too many sentries in his army, so he will favor stalkers from now on. He does see that ghost, and now that Imperishable knows that there's an observer, he should be able to spot this little glimmer. Let's see if he decides to move out a factory already. So very wide tech tree here by Imperishable, deciding not to throw down another barracks but instead a factory, so we'll just have to see how he decides to complement this army. Tanks would be a great idea, since those immortals will be EMP'd and the tanks will do their full damage to the immortals. If he decides to actually target them down, it could be very effective. He will instead go for a starport, so expect a reactor to go down on that factory so he can swap it as soon as that starport is done. He will be moving out just now though with this 3 ghosts, I think 3 or 4 ghosts. I only see 3 in the army, and he is actually a bit further behind in supply this game. He is ahead in harvest though, but that is because he went for those such early ghosts. These could be devastating if he EMPs this whole army. Remember, half of these shields will be done. B wisely cancels that nexus because he did see that army move out. He is expecting this army to make its way to his base right away. 4 gates and 1 robo, that robo not producing anymore, and he will wait for that army on top of his ramp. And during that time, no expansion actually for Imperishable, so this is an all-in strategy. He will push this till the end, although he does have a very heavy harvester lead. But if he doesn't do enough damage here with this army, he won't be able to come back to an expansion. And now this is a huge army by B. A lot of zealots gonna make their way. Great force fields, missing a few of those sentries. That 1 sentry still has a lot of sentries left, and this will be it, guys. B will be able to clean this up, and I don't think that Imperishable can come back. Maybe if he actually had a command center behind this, he would actually not be in bad shape, but since he did not even start one, there it goes, just now starting. He should have actually had it done and mining by now. And now B is looking great. He is behind on supply, but he just took out the entire army of the Terran player, and this is way oversaturated. And now this Nexus will be up before his opponent, and look for him to actually just keep his army solid and eventually just make one strong push to finish the game. That is what we have seen regularly from B, and I think this is still what we're going to see in this game. When that Nexus finishes, he'll keep it safe by moving out a bit and maybe even finish the game that way. Still not producing any more units from this robotics facility, so keeping that single immortal. He knows it's very vulnerable to ghosts, but there are no more ghosts actually on the field for Imperishable, just now making 1 extra ghost. And the income tab now still favoring heavily Imperishable because of those mules, but that command center not done yet. Remember, it still has to float down here and turn into an orbital command. And then all those SCVs have to transfer. These probes will be able to transfer just before the Terran players' SCVs. And building a bunker on the high ground here, Imperishable is actually going to have to salvage this and build a few on the low ground if he wants to stay safe. And producing only medevacs, now gonna try and drop again. Hopefully this time it won't get intercepted and do a bit more damage. But with that warp tech, ever so that good warp tech, ever so well, ever so good at dealing drops. Sorry, I lost my words there. Ever so good at dealing with drops. He can always just warp in units and just try and snipe it. And with that observer, he knows that this drop is coming. He will actually try and intercept this again. And this medevac is actually rallied into these stalkers and won't do much. He even rallied the drop here. So he will get intercepted and losing this whole drop once again, all because of this observer that is in the main base of Imperishable. B actually knows exactly when these drops are coming, and Imperishable should really scan to take that observer out, because it has been just horrible for him throughout these 2 games. It is really crucial that he takes out these observers in the next games. Now B gearing up to actually push with his first Colossus. Thermal Lance is already done, so he does have that range upgrade. There is only a single ghost and no true sentries actually in the back here. He needs to EMP these sentries, or else those force fields will be devastating. Engaging with the Stalkers first, he should actually wait for the rest of this army, backing up a bit, now engaging with the Immortal in front, gonna do huge damage to these Marauders if he does decide to force field it. The Colossus getting focused down, actually pulling back right at the last second. It is gonna go down, but a lot of Stalkers left, and this is gonna be GG for Imperishable. B is actually gonna go through round 4 of this tournament, and actually showing how it's done. B gonna go on, and I can't wait to see how far B actually goes into the tournament. Thank you for sending your games, by the way, and tune in for the next ones.